It's time now for some business news, and I'm joined for that on set by Yuka Roy. Hi, Yuka.
Hi, Alison.
Now, Yuka, partial count from Sunday's presidential runoff in Peru puts Keiko Fujimori in the lead by a narrow margin. The vote coming after a polarized campaign, and the country's very economic model is at stake.
That's right. Well, it's been a very much a left versus right campaign in terms of economic policies. Keiko Fujimori is the daughter of jailed former strongman Alberto Fujimori. She has vowed to uphold Peru's free market economic model that was built by her father. Her rival, Pedro Castillo, wants to reform the constitution to allow for state intervention on key sectors. Now, a lot of voters have been frustrated at the widening inequality over the years, and the coronavirus pandemic has dealt a devastating blow to Peru's economy. In 2020, GDP shrank by more than 11% and unemployment rose. The government launched a rescue package worth almost a fifth of its GDP, but despite the effort, the poverty rate rose by 6 percentage points to 27%. Alison, that's almost 1 in 3 people, with almost 2 million more people pushed into poverty. Now, on the other hand, the extra spending pushed Peru deeper into the red, into debt, now standing at 35% of GDP, above the legal limit.
All right, Yuka, we're going to turn to Japan next, where the world's largest car maker, Toyota, has been dealing with its own corporate culture.
Well, the company has reached a settlement with the family of an engineer who committed suicide back in 2017. Now, initially, Toyota denied that his death was work-related based on its own investigation. But in 2019, a local labor authority ruled that the 28-year-old man took his own life as a result of incessant power harassment at work. It has been revealed that since the ruling, the CEO of Toyota apologized twice to the family personally and pledged to work towards preventing similar incidents in the future. Now, on Monday, the company issued a statement outlining its new measures, including better communications and re-education of managers.
Now, new Chinese trade data show both exports and imports jumping in May, with imports growing at the fastest pace in more than a decade.
Well, with economies around the world reopening after coronavirus lockdowns, demand is growing further. China's exports rose almost 28% in May from a year earlier, though that was still less than expected and slower than in April. Imports, meanwhile, though, increased more than 51%. That's the fastest pace since January of 2011. That's more than a decade. Higher commodity prices were the main driver.
Meanwhile, Chinese authorities have stepped up their crackdown on cryptocurrencies.
That's right. China's popular social media platform Weibo froze at least a dozen accounts over the weekend of influential users who post content about cryptocurrencies, citing violation of Chinese laws. Now, it comes following weeks of campaign by the Beijing government against Bitcoin mining and trading, including a ban on financial institutions to provide services related to cryptocurrencies. Now, that latest Chinese crackdown spooked cryptocurrency markets. Prices of Bitcoin dropped following the news, as did Dogecoin, while Ethereum is currently trading up. Now, on the stock markets, Asian shares are mixed this Monday, with Hong Kong dipping about 0.5%.
Are you good? We're going to end here in France, where a new type of investor has emerged. This is youth.
That's right. Well, young people they've, like everybody else, they're working from home or studying at home as well. But with the extra time that they had due to lockdown, some young people have been turning their attention to the stock market. Now, over a quarter of investors in France are aged 35 and under, as Jamin reports.
Once a week, 22-year-old Clément Vanier takes a look at his investments. For 6 months now, he's been placing his savings in the stock market.
You can find investments here, like on the 500 biggest US companies.
He's also taken similar options out on some of the biggest European companies.
As a young person and during this period of COVID, I had no external expenses. So all the money I didn't spend on young activities, I put aside and invested in the stock market to try and make a profit.
His current investment is in a winning position, increasing by 1.5% per month. The stock market has begun attracting a new and younger generation in France. Last year, there were 410,000 new investors. Among them, over a quarter were under the age of 35. Buying shares has become simpler than ever before. Several easy-to-use mobile applications have been launched on the market, with young people now less afraid to take risks. However, financial market authorities have called for restraint and caution.
It's essential to remove the fun aspect. It facilitates the access, but of course we are in the world of investment with risks and strategies and also progressive portfolio growth. And all of these new investors will learn it as they go along.
Stock exchange novices are currently putting in an average of €2,100, a figure 2 times less than experienced investors.
All right, Yuka, you've convinced me. I'm going to have to invest.
Well, you have to make a healthy balance there, though.
I'll try.
Don't take too many risks.
Thanks, Yuka. Yuka Roy there with our business update.